Okay, so before we start our course, which we are starting right now, let's look at the difference between a virtual set and a virtual background. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our course files. So here's our course files here, and let's just look at what a virtual set is comprised of. So we have a background, which will open up in Photoshop. So there's our background there. And we're looking at our classroom computer lab. We have a foreground, which you can see it's a separate file, even though it would fit right here. It's a separate file because we need to give the software a completely different file. So normally they're built up, if you're going to build one, they're built up of different layers, and then you save them individually and load them into your software individually. So as you can see, and then there's a foreground, a frame crop, and what that is that's basically the crop around this television screen. And then this talent and those are placeholders for your talent. And then that config file, we don't need to worry about because it's actually going to be generated for us. So now if we look into vMix here, I'm going to give you two examples. So one, from our course files, we will upload a virtual background. In fact, there's actually one that we created in one of our last ones. So this here is just a video. As you can see here, it says your streaming show. So what we can do is we can actually go into our multi-view and put our camera in front of this, and voila, this is a virtual background. That's all it is. There's a background behind me and a foreground in front of me. Now I can still do a lot of other things and still use layers. So if I put myself as the bottom layer, and then maybe I want to put, let's see here, I definitely want to put a lower third down, right? There's my lower third. Now I've got two layers, and actually that stopped looping, so let's set that back to loop. But I can start going in here and set up like different layers and things. Right? So that's just a virtual background. Now, let's try a virtual set. So I go over here, I put virtual sets. Now, if you're using vMix, you actually need to go into this folder here, and you need to copy and paste it into your, oh, not there. You need to copy and paste it into your program files, vMix, virtual sets folder. You need to copy it in here. I already have Classroom Computer Lab in here. So when you do that, it automatically will populate here. We've got Classroom Computer Lab there. So it's no surprise that virtual sets are much more in-depth and much more flexible than a virtual background. Virtual backgrounds are fun, and they're actually might be right, and they're actually easier to use as well. But virtual sets allow you to do a lot more. So in the screen, let's actually put our virtual background in the screen. So now you can see we've added that. In the talent, all we want in the talent is our camera. And now we're pretty much done. And now you can see when I zoom in, I might want to move myself just a little bit over there and actually just make myself a little smaller. Perfect. Now I've got myself in that screen, and I can zoom in and out. And I've got 4 levels of zooming in and out. And I can actually export this whole thing to a new folder, which just for this course we will do. And we'll go into our green screen course files, into virtual sets. We'll go into Classroom, and we'll go into the vMix folder, and we'll do edited Computer Lab, and select that folder. And now it just exports all the files and everything that you've done in there. The other thing is these cameras can actually, presets basically, there's 2 things to know about them. One is you can change the speed from which you go between them, from medium to fast to slow. And you also have the option to cut. And the cut is actually quite nice as well. So now you've got 4 cameras in one space. The other thing that you can do is you can edit where those actually are. So maybe I want like a fully zoomed, I don't want it to be fully that far zoomed in. Now I can change that. So you just right click it to change where you want it to be. So that's the difference between a virtual set and a virtual background. And next we will talk about actually got a couple projects that we're going to do, actually going to create a virtual background.